When I was a kid, and right up until my late teenage years, I had this awful, reoccurring dream. Each night, I'd dream about these 5 skinless children. Their flesh would be on the outside, exposed and raw. They wouldn't do anything, they would just stand and stare at me for hours and hours until I willed myself to wake up again. You see, these kids, they didn't have any faces. Where their features were supposed to be, it was blank. There was nothing there. Just uncooked, jagged flesh. It looked smooth, though. Like, I knew if I touched their faces, they would feel velvety and glossy. That's fucked up, right? Growing up, I could barely sleep for the fear of seeing their blank, nondescript, and bleeding faces again. My mom and dad would dismiss me when I'd tell them about it. My dad used to get particularly angry about it, and I couldn't understand why. Each night, the dreams would become more surreal and vivid. The kids would appear more fucked up somehow. Sometimes they'd come to me with their skin still attached, and they'd stand at the foot of my bed and peel bits off like pieces of kebab meat. Eventually, the lack of sleep and the constant, unrelenting terror messed me up so bad that I had to be put away. Sectioned, if you will. The strange thing was, as soon as I left my house, the dream stopped. I was in the hospital for about 5 months before they released me. They boiled it down to some brief and momentary psychotic break. They gave me some pills to take and sent me on my merry way. I returned home and continued on with my life. My parents acted like nothing had happened, of course, and I left it at that. The first few days were normal, and I finally started to forget about those horrific dreams, until one night. I wasn't asleep this time, though, when they appeared. I saw the familiar chunks of saw-edged flesh, wet and glistening, their faces blank. They stood at the foot of my bed and did something they had never done before. They beckoned for me to follow them. I don't know why, but I followed. They led me to the basement. I noticed that the lights were on. I gingerly walked down the steps into the dimly lit room, and that was when I saw them all. There were 5 of them. The smell of their rotting corpses traveled up my nostrils, and the vomit erupted from within me, like blood from a freshly cut wound. They were skinned alive. Their faces were carved open. Noses, mouths, and eyes were all gone, cut out. Then I saw my father, slashing and carving away at something. He looked up and smiled at me. "You were such a disappointment, son. The next one will be better."